Welcome to Faith in Focus, the radio show that brings you closer to the heart of faith-based living. Each week, we shine a spotlight on how faith influences all aspects of our lives, from worship to social justice. We've got an inspiring lineup today with segments like Faith in Action, where we explore the ways faith shapes the world around us, Christian Artist and Music Spotlight, celebrating the talents of those who use their gifts to uplift and inspire, Christian Perspectives on Law, offering insightful reflections on how our faith intersects with legal matters, and Prayer and Reflections, where we take time to pause, reflect, and connect with God. Stay tuned as we explore how faith can transform our hearts and the world. And here's your host.
Welcome back to another episode of Faith in Focus. I'm your host, Jada G, and on this segment of Christian Music Spotlight, I have with me Brandon Best. He is an award-winning gospel recording artist from Trinidad and Tobago, celebrated for his powerful voice and unwavering faith. He made history at the Gospel Music Awards of Trinidad and Tobago, GMATT, by winning 5 major awards in a single year, including Album of the Year, Male Artist of the Year, and Songwriter of the Year. In addition to his music career, Brandon is a respected radio personality on Sky 99.5 FM and the managing director of Anyone Consultancy. A devoted father, he uses his platform to inspire others through faith-driven music that uplifts and encourages. Welcome to Faith in Focus, Brandon.
Hey, Faith in Focus, thank you so much. It is a pleasure to be here. Jada, thanks so much for having me, man.
Yes, of course, of course. Your recent success at the GMA Awards was groundbreaking. How has this recognition deepened your commitment to gospel music and ministry?
Listen, I want to say firstly that, well, thanks for acknowledging it. And two, I have never done music with the intention of getting an award. That's one thing I feel like if that's I never thought about awards before doing it. When I do my music, I do it so that it speaks to the heart of people. Most of the times it speaks to me because I am too an individual that is being molded by the grace of God. So I understand that we all need music in that light. But what it did do is that it acknowledged the type of work that we put in. And sometimes as artists, we can forget that, this is real work. This is consistent commitment, 15 years doing gospel music. And to be recognized, especially with 5 awards in 1 year out of a project that I really put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into, it felt good to know that I could be acknowledged among my peers, but also it feels good to know that God recognizes the work that you do, and it encourages you to just do more. So now I feel more committed to what I have to do because it's like, okay, not that I want an award, but it's good to know that, God sees what you're doing and, your reward will come. Whether in this life or the next, your reward will come. Continue. It's an encouragement to keep on going, keep on working, keep on pushing, because somebody out there, they need your music, and there are going to be times when you need your music. So don't stop. So I think for me, the encouragement in itself to know that God himself is listening, he recognizes, he sees, he knows the effort that goes in, and he chose the opportunity to recognize you as an individual and recognize me as an individual. That in itself made me, I guess, more encouraged and more committed to wanting to do more, because I know, here's what, God sees, man. He understands, and we're not doing this in vain. He is good. Right behind all of it. And some days you won't see the outcomes. You don't get to see, all the results. But at sometimes he gives you a glance to show, hey, yeah, do yourself. I'm with you. I'm with you. And that's really good.
Amen. Amen. I completely agree with that. And I know that your faith plays a significant role in your music. So how do you ensure that your songs remain engaging and relatable to a broader audience?
Yeah, I think for me, being able to do gospel music has been a great opportunity. Like many may not know, but before I did gospel music, while I did start off as a pastor's kid, my dad being a pastor, my mom an evangelist, I did have the opportunity to do secular music. I did have a contract that was getting ready for me to do R&B music. And when I really, really gave my music and my talent over to the Lord, you know, one of the things that I started to realize is that, in the beginning stages of a ministry, all you want to do is just write about, I guess, anything that is so Christ focused in terms of, okay, just tell people about Jesus, tell people about Jesus, tell people about Jesus. And then when you get to live Christian life, you realize, okay, while we tell people about Jesus, we need to also tell people how to live while serving Jesus, right? So it's like, because they're going through real things, and they need an outlet. And if we don't provide it as the creatives in the space, they don't have much of an opportunity to get something. What do I do when I have a broken heart as a Christian? I have to pop on a gospel, a secular song, because maybe my the content or the opportunity or the alternatives are not much. So that is something that really helped me to remember to stay human but Christ centered. So I live a Christian life. So everything that I do is founded on the gospel, founded on the word, and then I understand now that each song has an objective. How do I want this song to relate to the hearer? Is this song a song of worship? Is this song a song of testimony? Is this a song that I want people to be healed, delivered, brought through? And how can we tell those stories? So this season of my life, even with new music that I'm going to be working on, God has been really inspiring me to speak to the heart of people from where they are as well. So I think us being human helps us to stay relatable. If you are doing gospel music, I think the fact that you go through real life, my whole walk isn't perfect. I need Jesus just as much as anybody else do. I have my own challenges, I have my own struggles, and then I have had many victorious days. So I get to see life, and in that life, somebody else is somebody else is going through, and they need a voice. So now I'm trying to put into the music, how can I be a voice for people in moments where they don't really you don't hear the gospel or alternative music that is Christ centered for them to listen to. So as I said, when they're going through a heartbreak, or when they've lost a parent, or when when they've lost their job, or when or even if they're the offender, like, okay, when you were the one that did wrong and you have to go through a season, or if you've been ostracized, like, how do we write songs that are also Christ centered? I think once we can remember that we need Jesus, that helps us as writers, as creatives, to be more relatable, because we're still penning our songs from a place that is not too far-fetched. And in all of it, we do our best to tell people about Christ so that we get those saved. But we can bring our messages. You can bring messages of the gospel, of the hope, of love, of deliverance. As you just have to know. But just remember that you too are human. I think that humbles me enough to know that I can write from a place where, here's what, I need God just as much as the other person that I'm writing this song to hopefully inspire. And if I were them and if they were me, how would we relate being in very similar shoes? And that's how I think that helps me to stay really relatable, I guess, when I'm going through my creative process, still being founded on Christ, and still trying to bring music that that God could be glorified in.
That is great, honestly. And as a gospel artist from Trinidad and Tobago, how do your cultural roots influence your music, and how do you see Caribbean gospel music evolving on the global stage?
I am a Trinity to the bone. I love Caribbean music. And I love all gospel music. I love all music. When I say that, all genres, right? But I am a big fan of where I come from. And, you know, I grew up on Roncanoli. I grew up on Dan McClicken, but I also grew up on Sean Daniel. I also grew up on Nico Balo Singh. And so I have become a lover of where are you from, and how could you bring the message of Christ to the world from the heart of where you came from. And I believe culture plays a big part in how we express ourselves. When I go to Africa, I don't really want to go to Africa to hear them sing songs that are all Caribbean based. Because then I feel like if I lose the essence of what was the story that God gave to y'all? When I read the book of Revelations, the 144,000, they sang a song that John was not able to understand, but he could tell it was a song. But you know what else he could understand? They all identified with it. There's a struggle that they went through. While I could hear them singing, while it sounds beautiful, I may not understand the struggle, but the fact that I could see them united, praising God from where they are from because of what they went through, that in itself makes me want to praise more. And I think, people expect us as well, coming from where we're coming from, to also praise God with a heart that is authentic. I'm a Trinidadian. I was born here. We have music that was created here. I'm from the Caribbean. We have music that was created here. So, I want to bring our music to the world. Not that I don't have a strong appreciation for Christian contemporary music or black gospel. I really do. And because I am a singer, I can fall into any of those categories, and I really, really love it. I love worship. I do. But I think I would always want to ensure that everywhere I go, I represent, where I'm from, because I think that it's a unique story when the world gets to understand, okay, how does a person from Trinidad worship God, and what is your experience of God like from being in the Caribbean? And what is that expression like? I know what America's expression is like. I know what Africa's expression is like. What is the Caribbean expression? I think when we hold true to that, I think it gives us a even greater feel when we go out in the global scale, on the global market, because now we give people something to appreciate. We don't need to be the next Kirk Franklin. I don't need to be that. I don't need to be the next Donnie McClurkin. I just need to be the next Brandon that is expressing the heart of God from where he is at. And if I could do that well, I think people could appreciate it. And I think that is, and let the world. Let the world hear our song. Let them hear our authenticity. And I think as we do more of it, we're going to be grafted in, just like how Afro beats and Afro music start to become grafted into the global scale. I think when we stay true to the environment that we came from, and we tell our testimonies with that same truthful heart, I think that it is undeniable that we become grafted in. So I'm excited to represent the Caribbean wherever I go, especially Trinidad and Tobago. So whatever stage I land on, know that you're going to always get some form of a Trini setting inside there, because guess what? That's where I'm at. That's where God placed me. I can't be anybody else but who you made me to be. And, you guys, I need you guys to experience what it's like to praise in a Caribbean style. So, yeah.
That is so real. Trinity the bone forever. Your journey in music has been marked by both triumphs and challenges. How has your faith helped you navigate obstacles, and what advice would you give to any aspiring gospel artists facing hardships?
Yeah. Listen, let me start with the advice first, because I think that will help me with the journey. My advice to artists is, remember that you too are going through a process of sanctification, a process of learning and growing. And being an artist does not exempt you from trials, tribulation, pain, and suffering. It doesn't. Just because you're a Christian, it doesn't mean that you're going to escape fire. So if you can remember that, the Bible talks about those who endure to the end. If you could remember that and you can keep that in the forefront of your brain and you endure, you're going to be so much better for it, because this walk is going to be one of endurance. It's not a sprint. It's not a marathon. Well, no, it is a marathon, but it's not a sprint. But it's gonna take endurance on your journey. Listen, I have, while doing gospel music, right before gospel music started, I lost my mom to a car crash. During gospel music, I had failed businesses. I had my brother commit suicide. Listen, I have gone through plenty relational issues, so much that, if I were to start a talk, I could probably write a book about it, But I have also seen extreme highs, like awards, immediately concert. I've seen God do great things, and I've seen God allow me to go through valleys. Some of those valleys was tribulation, it was persecution because of God's righteousness. And some of them was my own decisions. I would have made wrong choices, because we're human and we would have made our choices and we fell into it. But God is a good father. So he's going to let us go through so that we can learn and how we can progress and get better. But if you remember that you are not exempt from the journey of sanctification, you will do well. This road of gospel music will not be a competition for you, because guess what? As you live and you grow, as you go through your challenges, it's going to inspire you differently. The way I write now is not the way that I wrote 15 years ago, because my perspective on life is not the same. It has matured, it has grown, it has been shaped differently. I see the relationship I have with God now. It's not the same relationship I had with Him then. Even though He's the same, He's broader in my mind. There's more that I understand about Him. There's more that I understand about life. I'm a father. There's much more that I understand about life and its challenges. So the way that I may approach music now is very different. The heart by way I approach is different. So all of it is necessary. So I would just tell young artists, don't count yourself out. Don't think that just because, it's rough, you should stop. That's not it. Keep going, keep pushing, because the journey is important for the story. The journey is also important for the testimony. All of it, God gets glory in all of it. All things work together, not some. All things work together for to them that love the Lord and are called according to His purpose. It says all things. That means that it's both the good and the bad things. The favorable situations and the unfavorable situations, they all work together for the good. So if you remember that, you will make it well to keep going, keep pushing, run your race, cut your lane. Don't worry about everybody else. Everybody's on their own journey. Trust and believe everybody's on their own journey, but you stay focused and endure. All right, because it's going to be necessary, and that's what I have done. I have just held on to God. Even when I felt like giving up, I held on, and He has been faithful throughout it all. So yeah.
That's great. Always hold on to God through anything and everything. And I know with so many accomplishments you've already achieved, I know people are wondering, what do you have? What future projects you have coming up? And what initiatives are you most excited about pursuing next?
Hey, listen, I am, excuse me, I am extremely excited to start to do some more work out there. Really, really excited to start expanding my reach internationally. I'm going to be starting a new album project in a short while. And I'm excited about that because that is a story of hope. And I'm prayerfully trusting God to guide me through those conversations. But I'm so excited to really, really get that project started, and to also to ensure that I can really broaden my relationships outside. So hopefully we see what that looks like any next year or so. And we thank God for it. So I'm excited. God is not done. He just has so much more in store, and we just keep on working and keep a focused mindset with that is concerned.
Okay, well, thank you for coming. Before you leave, can you give the listeners where they can stream your music, where they can see your media?
Yeah, definitely. You guys can hit me up on YouTube, Brandon Best Music. You guys can check me out on Spotify, Brandon Best. I'm on all digital streaming platforms, actually, so you could look up for Brandon Best there. If you want to see me on Facebook, Brandon Best Music. Instagram, Brandon Best _TT. TikTok, Brandon Best _TNT. All right, you guys can check me out there as well, man. Go stream the music. It's available on all streaming platforms, YouTube. Check it out, and I pray it's a blessing to you guys, man.
Thank you for joining us today on Faith in Focus. We hope the conversations and insights shared have inspired you to live out your faith in powerful and meaningful ways. From the arts to justice and the law to personal reflection, faith has the power to shape our world for the better. Join us next time as we continue to explore the many ways faith-based living impacts our daily lives. Until then, keep the light of faith shining bright, and may your heart be full of peace and purpose. Grace and peace. Blessings.